Well, moving now to specific positions and candidates convincing the superdelegates with their nice little rhetorical skills. Now that Senator Clinton has expressed her scathing sentiments towards that nescient group of number expounders called economists, finding dismal support for a cute gas tax holiday, is McCain, you think, going to be taken to task now? Will he stick to his maverick guns, or will he have to play wingman to the academic Iceman?
Nice words there. When a candidate takes a position like Hillary Clinton did and John McCain did, essentially, I think for political reasons, but also, with the idea that it was a symbolic action, that it showed symbolic empathy for people who have to pay high gas taxes, the chances are they're going to stick with that position. There's a little bit of evidence in the exit polling. It's a little hard to tell because I didn't really ask it directly, that Hillary Clinton was not helped by that little maneuver on the gas taxes. Obama showing among people who thought that the economy was the most important issue was pretty good, suggesting that perhaps there was some support for his position. But McCain's stuck with that position, and John McCain is going to have plenty of his own problems as time goes on. So, and it is correct that the focus hasn't been really on him very much, but it will, because eventually this is going to be a fight between John McCain and the Democratic nominee, presumably Barack Obama.
Is McCain still a maverick, would you say, or is his connection with George Bush now too close to even kind of make an independent streak?
There are two ways to view that. One is factually and one is perceptually. McCain is something of a maverick. He hasn't always gone along with his party, and he still doesn't. I mean, he's much more into something like, the importance of the global warming issue than most Republicans in the Hill, and certainly than this administration. And he has been an independent voice on issues from time to time. That said, on the major issues facing the country, the war, the economy, taxes, he's lined up, 300% with the George Bush position, and that creates a difficult political problem that the Democrats will use this line from here to November, that John McCain is George Bush's third term. And believe me, if there's something the country doesn't want, it's another term of George Bush. So that's the factual part of it. The perceptual part is that McCain definitely has some support, more support among independents than other Republicans would have had. And that, I think, relates to this, perception that he's not quite a down-the-line Bush Republican. So, to the extent that he can push that idea through the campaign, he will benefit, and to the extent the Democrats succeed in portraying him as George Bush III, he'll be heard.
Right. Now, would you say that once the actual Democratic primary, and for all intents and purposes it's over, but once Clinton actually does drop out and endorse Obama, would you say that Obama could then have a bigger lead over McCain, that a lot of McCain's
I think that most of the Republicans expect that once the primaries are over, that Obama will be seen as clearly ahead of McCain. The generic vote which is when people are asked, do they want the Democrats to elect the next president or the Republicans, there's a lead between 10 and 15 points for the Democrats. It's with the individual matchups, it's been less than that. And I'd guess that, once we get into June, and you see some of those matchups, that Obama's lead over McCain will be more than it is now, but probably not up as high as the generic lead. But again, I caution those kinds of polls, I think, so far have been pretty meaningless. They may become more meaningful after the primaries are settled. But as you all know, the election, there is not a single national election for president. There are 51 separate elections in 50 states in the District of Columbia, and you've got to get 270 electoral votes. So the winner of the popular vote, as Al Gore could be the first to tell you, is not necessarily who's going to be the president.
Right. I mean, the other thing is the polls said in 2000 Gore was going to be the pick, and the polls said in 2004 Kerry was going to be the pick. So you always have to...
No one thought that Kerry was going to be elected. Some of the polls were very close, and at least one pollster went out on a limb and said he thought at the end that Kerry would win, and some of the early exit polls showed him leading, but the polls did have Bush ahead narrowly throughout, and the exit polls, as it turned out, were about on target.
Well, you wrote a piece a couple of weeks ago entitled "How to Pick a Vice President."
Right.
You lay out characteristics and attributes that a good VP should possess. Now, I got to bring up, though, the old praised dream ticket of Obama and Clinton seems, though, not to be able to fit one of your critical points, and that is ready to serve on day one. Now, I'm not saying Senator Clinton doesn't have the experience. Obviously, she has the greatest pool experience and knows her way around the White House. Yet I feel that if Clinton was put in the VP position, the axiom of ready to serve would probably rapidly evolve into ready to lead. Is she too powerful and too much of an alpha dog for someone like Obama, who might not win another kidney?
She fits that perfectly. The fact that she's gotten, 49.5% of the Democratic votes for president in a close vote campaign. Anyone who has run a major campaign for president and has fared well will be seen by the public as ready to serve, as qualified. It's when you pick some little-known governor or congressman or senator like a Dan Quayle or some of the people, Geraldine Ferraro, that's where the problems come.
Right. I was just more thinking, is she possibly, maybe Obama might feel that she is too powerful or want too much influence?
The vice president gets his or her power and his or her duties from the president. It's the old thing, you shouldn't pick someone as vice president who might overshadow the president. The vice president does not overshadow the president. The president overshadows the vice president. Interestingly, there's been I know of one poll that's been taken with a ticket. That's the only one. I was looking for this morning. Fox did a poll about a week ago, and it was interesting. When Obama was matched up against McCain was 3 points ahead. When Clinton was matched up against McCain was 1 point behind. But an Obama-Clinton ticket ran 6 points ahead of a McCain-Romney ticket. And the reason it did was that when Obama took Clinton on the ticket, the ticket's share of independent votes went up, but more importantly, the share of Democratic votes went up. In other words, some of the Democrats who are cool to Obama and might go to McCain seem to then stick with the party with Hillary Clinton on the ticket. I mean, no one knows if that's going to happen or if it's even likely. That George Stephanopoulos apparently is saying that one of Hillary Clinton's conditions for getting out of the race is that in consideration for the vice presidency. I always caution people on the vice president. When people say, they'll never take the vice presidency, there are two words that answer that question. They are Lyndon Johnson, who was, of course, never going to run with John Kennedy on the ticket, but did. And there's a reason why some people, why a Lyndon Johnson or a Hillary Clinton would accept a vice presidential nomination that people, think they wouldn't take. If the most direct way to become president of the United States is to get elected, the second best way to become president of the United States is to get elected as vice president. And if you look back at the number of vice presidents who've become presidents, you can see why ambitious politicians find it hard to say no to that.